Ryan, you said throughout the year, no matter what, you want to play.
Sure.
And Joe Linta a couple weeks ago, he said that, you just want to be assured that you'll have a chance to compete for a starting job.
Yeah, well, I think for me, I've proven that I can get in this league as a starting quarterback. Now, did the season end the way we wanted to? No. I mean, we fell off. And, there's a lot of things, a lot of reasons why that happened. So I'm not going to shy away from my responsibility in that part. But, for me, I feel like 16 starts, I've shown that I can be a winning quarterback in this league. So, especially at this point in my career, I want to go somewhere, whether it's here or wherever it might be, that I'm going to be able to have a chance to get on the field.
Have the Browns given you any feedback as far as that goes? Have they said you would have a chance to compete if you came back?
I haven't spoken to them. That'd be a better question for Joe, or my agent, Joe Linta. From what he's told me, it's been very brief talk. Just kind of gauge, where we're at. So, to this point, I really don't know.
Ryan, there's been a lot of stuff come out in the last week behind the scenes. The texting investigation that's underway through the league, and that. How much does the behind-the-scenes atmosphere factor in to your decision?
It obviously will. I think, like I said, I'm going to make the best decision possible, and to read, the stories and see what's going on. I'm just as interested as you guys are to see where that comes out, especially because when you read it, that it has to deal with the quarterback situation and play calling. That's something that could affect how I feel about it. So, for me, I'm looking forward to see how that comes out of that. Obviously, it's an ongoing investigation, so I'm not going to comment anymore than the fact that I'm just as interested as all of you are to see where that goes.
Does it seem, you were in the building, does it seem as dysfunctional as this week made it sound to everyone else? The whole building?
As far as the players are concerned, we're downstairs, we're in the locker room, we're focusing on games. So, for me, I think what happened at the end of the season speaks for itself with Kyle and Dal. You don't just leave a job to leave, So, to say that I was unaware of it, I think I'd be lying to you, but I know, to the extent I had no idea. So, like I said, I'm just as interested, as all of you to see what happens.
So did you know that Kyle kind of confided in you that I'm out of here?
No, he didn't confide in me. Sometimes you can read people and you can get a feeling for, how things are going, or it's a long season. You spend a lot of hours together. So, I think, the actions speak for themselves.
Brian, are you pretty confident? There's a lot of people in the league that think very highly of you. You've got coaches in various places that have worked with you. Are you pretty confident that someone will want to give you a chance as a starter?
Yeah, no doubt. Like you said, for me personally, I have all the confidence in the world in myself, and like I said, after we beat Atlanta, we're 7-4. If you would have told me the season would end the way it did, I would have said I'm crazy. So, did we have a few bad games? Sure, no doubt. And it's unfortunate that we weren't able to see it through and get it done. But as far as I'm concerned, like I said, I'm going to make the best decision for myself, for my career, and at this point in my life. And so I've told you guys before, I'm from here. Would it be great to stay here? Sure, but if it's not the best place for me to be at this point in my career, then I'm going to have to make some tough decisions.
Is there just too much stuff going on here? Is it too...
Well, I think, the dust will all settle at some point, and for me, free agency is still a month away, so a lot can happen from now and then, and like from my standpoint, you just keep all options open.
How do you think Kyle and or Dal leaving, does that affect your decision?
Well, yeah, obviously I grew to, have a great relationship with those guys, and, so you got to figure out who's going to be in there. But like I said, I've met Flip. From what I've heard, they're going to hire Kevin as the quarterback coach. It's someone I'm familiar with. And for me, there's no animosity from me towards him. And he was here last year in training camp, I think, for like a 3 or 4 day span where he was kind of just observing and stuff, and we had a great relationship then. So you want to be able to know those people. For me, like I said, I had a good chance to be in the building and work, day in, day out with Kyle and Dal, and I have a lot of respect for those guys, and for them, helped me get in the position that I was last year.
As a national writer did kind of speculate that, your history, Kevin, might be awkward and might make you want to leave.
Yeah, I've never had Kevin as a coach before, right. So I don't know how that would, present itself. But as far as our relationship as friends, I mean, when he sat in those meetings, there was everything was fine between he and I. So, and if anything, it's someone I'm familiar with.
What did
do
you
you
think
think
of
about Johnny Manziel checking himself in the rehab?
I mean, I reached out to Johnny, and hopefully he gets what he needs out of it. And I think for his part, it takes a big person to take those steps. So, I'm hoping for the best for him. I know people want to make it out to seem like we're enemies, but really, I think we became really good friends throughout the entire season. I never felt like he was trying to undermine me or anything like that. I felt like he was always very supportive, and for him, I hope he gets what he needs, and wish him the best.
If they gave you the opportunity to come back here and compete, and Johnny was also going to come back here, how would that impact your decision, that knowing that it was going to be you two kind of battling it out again?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've already done once. I'm not afraid of doing it twice. For me, I've never shied away from any competition, whether it was here or whether it was in New England to fight for the backup job or wherever it may be. So, like I said, that'll all go into consideration for when I make that decision. But it's not something that is going to keep me from staying here. I know that's been put out there that I won't come back here if Johnny's here. That's not true.
Did Johnny ever confide in you during the season that he was struggling with anything?
No, and like I said, for me, you spend a lot of hours together, and I never, thought, it would be anywhere close to where he's at now. And like I said, I don't know the situation.
Right.
We had a group message amongst the quarterbacks and stuff, and even up until a few weeks ago, Johnny was part of that. And then, I found the news out the same day that probably all you did, so I was kind of shocked by it. But like I said, if he decided that's what he needs, I think that's a big step and very mature of him to be able to do that. I mean, with everything that's surrounding him, the media, the hype, all that stuff, for him to be able to take those steps, I think that shows that he cares about himself and like I said, you read the statement, his family, his teammates, the Cleveland Browns. So it's like I said, I hope I wish him the best.
How about Josh Gordon? What do you think of that? No, he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing that it's gotten to this point. Hopefully, same thing for Josh. You wish him the best, and hopefully that he can figure it out.
Do you put your finger on what happened with him last year after the Atlanta game?
Yeah, I mean, like I told you guys before, it's hard enough to play games when you're practicing every week, every day of the season, let alone be suspended for 10 games and then come back and be expected to be a key component to the offense. And there were times where we were definitely not on the same page, and when you're figuring that out in the game, it can definitely hurt you. So we were able to overcome some of that in the Atlanta game and still win, but when you have those mistakes against a good defense like Buffalo, definitely it's going to hurt you. So, you don't blame Josh. I mean, Josh was in a tough situation, and he was brought back, and obviously everyone knows how talented Josh is. So, you want to get him on the field, you want to get him the ball, and I think it just didn't work out for us.
The Browns don't have to make any decision on Josh because he's gone for a year. But
sure.
Do you think it sends any kind of bad message that they hang on to him rather than cut him because he's made so many mistakes?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to look at it. I think you can look at it from both perspectives, and I'm not going to give my opinion on that. But like I said, you just hope with a guy who is that talented, who's a well-liked guy in the locker room, that for his sake that he gets things right and is able to stay on, in the building and on the field, because he's capable of great things.
Brian, you've been in other environments. It seems every offseason when it comes to the Browns this time of year, the type of stories that came out this past week about things that go on behind the scenes. Is this unique to Cleveland, or is this type of stuff go on around the NFL, but it just isn't as highly publicized?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? The only other place I've been at extent just won the Super Bowl for the fourth time in however many years, and you look at them, I mean, they're the model of continuity, and a lot of it has to do with because Bill's a great coach and Tom's a great quarterback, and even though other people shuffle around through there, when you have those two key components in place, so I can't really compare it to that. I think with this, there's been turnover ever since the Browns were back, and I think that definitely kind of creates this cycle that it's kind of a cycle, and hopefully, now we got Penn in there for another year. Did a great job, and hopefully, you kind of break that streak a little bit.
What's the next step for you in terms of who do you need to meet with the Browns? What does your agent need to do?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I've talked to Coach Pett a few times. I'll go back in and meet with him. I know Ray had texted me about meeting. It hasn't gone anywhere to this point. I'm sure he has other things on his plate, but hopefully I get a chance to do that. I'd like to sit down and talk to him. And then, as far as, when you get to free agency, I don't really, I got to talk to Joe about that. We haven't crossed that bridge yet on how that works. So, like I said, for me, my heart is here, and regardless if I'm here or not, I want to see the Cleveland Browns do well. I think, seeing these people here today, they're so desperate to have, a good team and some continuity, and they deserve it. So, whether I'm here or not, I'll always, now that I've had a chance to play for this organization, it'll always be a special place in my heart, and you just want to see them do well. So, for me, I'm just going to, after I leave here, go back home and get back into, relaxing with my family and enjoying that, because I know, a few months from now, you get back right to it and right back to the grind.
Will you hit the open market, though?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, first of all, I'd have to be offered a contract with Cleveland at some point before that. So I really don't know. And like I said, I'm keeping all options open at this point.
Do you want to hit the open market so you can see what's out there?
That'd be better to ask Joe. Like I said, I don't really know that at this point. I don't know how all that works. But for me, all options are on the table, and obviously Cleveland has a big place in my heart.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Do you think, would you have to be re-signed before March 10th to stay here, do you think?
Not necessarily. No, I don't think so. All right.
Do you feel like the worm has turned it all in your favor with Manziel entering rehab and all being chaos? At least you do bring stability and knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, for me, all of that, is kind of outside noise. For me, I'm going to, look at it from my perspective and just, how it affects my life. So, the stuff that is outside of that kind of is up to the other people involved in the situation. So that's not for me to decide. But, for me, I'm going to make sure I do what's best for me and my family.
Just one more. Do you think some of the comments by Ray Farmer don't seem real supportive? Like him saying, well, it doesn't really matter where the guy's from.
Sure. No, and I totally agree. Me being from here didn't make me the best quarterback for the Browns, and me being from here doesn't make the Browns the best team for me either. So, I mean, not many people get a chance to play, where they grew up and where they're from. It's a very unique situation. So,
but everything else you said over, we got to look for everywhere for a quarterback.
Sure.
I mean, it doesn't sound like Lions are good.
In their defense, we didn't finish the season very strong. If we had finished the season, the way we'd started it, I think we're having a totally different conversation here. So, I mean, that's something that Ray and Joe, my agent, have to discuss, and they can hash that out. So, for me, once I leave here, no offense to you guys, but I still try to keep my head out of the media. So, you hope that those don't affect certain things.
And this one, Jordan Cameron, do you think? Because I remember you getting his autograph on his jersey or yours, whatever.
That's just because Jordan and I, having our lockers together, we established a close bond. And unfortunately for him this year, he had to deal with the injuries and stuff. But getting the chance to sit down and talk to him every day, talk football, talk life. He became one of my better friends, and that was just kind of
Yeah, but do you think he is gone because?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Jordan that question. I mean, I really don't know.
One thing you mentioned, unless you want to get into this.
Yeah, last one.
You talked about not finishing the season the way you want. Were you given a fair chance to finish the season the way you want?
You know what? It's hard to make an argument that they shouldn't have taken me out. You look at the numbers, but I think also there's more than just meets the eye at the numbers. So for me, like I said, we had a good thing going. We had a few patches, and they made a decision to go the other way. I can't blame them for that. So thank you.
Thanks.